All right, all right. What up, everybody? What up, what up, what up? It's your girl, Jackie Johnson.
Hello. And it is LaQuisha.
And we are My Sistah Me LLC. And we want to welcome you to Sister Conversations in Black. Now,
in Black.
Yes. Now, today we got a hot one for y'all. As y'all can see, the topic is virtual counterfeit intimacy, replacing contact. Now, I wonder if some of y'all have already figured out where we're going with this, but if you didn't, fasten your seatbelt, hold on tight, because it may get a little bumpy on this here ride. All right, but we're excited.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is we're going to start with a little clip, and then we're going to get into our discussion. All right. Now, sis, are you excited about this one? Because I'm definitely excited about this one. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and show y'all this clip. All right, let's see. Give me one moment. All right, here we go. And y'all let me know if you can't hear it well. But here we go.
Introducing Sculpture,
y'all know they gotta do these ads.
Shapewear alternative that differentiates between areas where.
All right, here we go.
What's wrong?
Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, so this is the one. I want to stop here.
And after having observed your behavior this evening and my resulting condition, I was wondering if you would like to have sex.
She didn't waste no time. She just asked them. Here now? Yes, sir. Here now.
Great. I'll be right back.
So he getting ready. He waiting for her to go do what she do. She said, begin what?
Of course.
She said, sex, of course. He's like, what? He's like, how we about to do it? I'm over here.
What's wrong? You go contact.
Contact? I didn't even touch you yet.
I thought you wanted to make fun.
Is that what you call this?
Your sex has been proven to produce high orders of alpha waves during digitized transference of sexual energies.
All right, Alfie, what do you say we just do it the old-fashioned way?
Oh, disgusting. I mean,
Fluid transfer. She said fluid transfer.
There's a hunk and choker.
All right, so we showed y'all that clip to kind of introduce like what we're talking about. So if you paid attention to the clip, this is actually a clip from the movie Demolition Man, one of my little favorite movies. It's a throwback, but it's good. But anyways, he had been frozen in the ice for a long time, so he awoke to this new era, like it had been hundreds of years from when he was alive. So he remembered when you liked a woman, you had like physical sex. Well, in this new time, they didn't do physical contact. They did sex through virtual stimulation. And so she's asking him to have sex, so he good, he down for it. And she puts his helmet on him. He's shocked because he doesn't know what she's doing or what she's talking about. But he sits there and then he starts feeling the emotions of sex. He starts feeling the arousal, but he has no physical contact with her. So he freaks out and takes the helmet off, like, what is this? And so she starts to tell him, like, this has been proven to, number one, give you more stimulation, and like there has not been any physical contact for sex for many, many years. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about today on so many different levels, is all of these virtual outlets that we are gaining access to. Is it trying to replace our human contact? So that's our question and topic today. I'm actually going to throw it over to LaQuisha, and she's going to kick us off with the conversation. Quisha, what you got to say about this?
All right. Thank you so much for that introduction, Miss Jackie, Miss Human Contact. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm going to throw a word out there for you all. Digisexual.
Oh, say it again.
Digisexual. Digisexual. D-I-G-I sexual. S-E-X-U-A-L. Digisexual. Yeah. We found some of her notes. Yeah. Digisexual is a place where people go virtually to, I'm trying to be cognizant of I'm trying. It's a place where people go to work out their fantasies, and it's in a digital world. Well, they have a name for it. It's called digisexual. So if you may be that person that is looking at an avatar's booty or looking at the way a man is shaped and desiring them, you might be digisexual. Is that in the Bible? I don't think so. But I'm saying, in today's society, this is what it is. It's a society shifting sexual orientation called digisexual. Isn't that something, sis?
It is something, because you know what? I'm not even gonna trip. Remember when we was talking like years ago about when video games became an epidemic among adults? Like, you know, because for the longest, like, video games was like young people stuff. You didn't have to worry about that. But then all of a sudden, I can't even tell you what happened, but like grown men started like living on the video games. And I remember like there were countless wives, even on like the Maury show and different places, there were countless wives talking about how their husbands weren't paying them any attention anymore because all they wanted to do was be on this game. And I'm thinking to myself, that's crazy. That don't make no type of sense. But like these men were literally on these games, not doing anything. Like they wasn't having sex with their wives. They wasn't barely talking to the people in their house. Like it was crazy. And in my mind, I was like, this is crazy. Like it's a video game. But then I saw one of the popular video games that they were playing. And when I tell you that the women on the video games was stacked and packed, like, I was like, wait a minute. So are you telling me that men are really like infatuated with these video game characters? And,
yes, ma'am.
and now it's even like the animes. Like you hear dudes talking about the animes, like they want to get down with the anime, like it's not real.
Girl.
And so now that I hear you say that term digisexual, like it registers so clear to me. And this is a reason why we
Come on and go there
I'm
now.
not saying it's the only reason, but this is one of the reasons why marriages are failing and men can't have productive relationships with women, because they are having digital relationships already. They're not.
Come on and go there.
They're not stunting you because they already infatuated with this online person. They're already connected with them. And just like we saw in that clip, she was mentally being stimulated in her body through just the mental thoughts. And so when you think about that, that is what's happening to men and women who are losing themselves in the digital world. They are desiring physical contact less and less. They don't need it because they're already being fulfilled sexually by the that they're seeing. And I'm telling y'all, not only are marriages in trouble and relationships are in trouble, but our human side of things, our humanity is in trouble.
Ooh, she said enough right there. Listen, in the Britannica and the Encyclopedia, digisexual is someone who sees technology such as sex robots, virtual reality as pornography. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. It's integral to their sexual experience. They feel no need to search for physical intimacy with human partners.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and go there today. Because
some people got to get free, man.
She found some of her notes. So, listen, it's a conversation that needs to be had. People whose work is in the future or sexuality. When I say their work is in the future of it, these are people that design these games and design the way folks look. They said that they are already in the mindset or in the midst of a sexual revolution with technology.
Yep.
Something about that just don't quite sit right within me.
Come on.
The fact that you are in an immersion romantically with technology.
Come on.
But let me give you some examples of where the immersion began. And we can say, oh, Facebook and this and that, but I'm going to go to dating apps.
That's good. That's good. Go there.
I'm going to go to and I'm going to go all the way back when they included those the beds in some of them sleazy hotels, the robotic beds, to add a stimulant to what's already supposed to be a naturally organic feeling. You're enhancing the natural organic connection.
Wow.
You don't need to.
Wow.
Because you weren't designed that way. Okay, not to go in the Bible, but we always got to make a reference.
Right.
We were designed for you. Oh, this is gonna get deep. If you a church folk and you get offended, just log off.
Yeah, please.
We were.
You really need to hear it because I'm sure you're dealing with it and just don't know you're dealing with it.
And don't know, but we were designed for your pleasure. Which is why we were created soft, which is why we were created with the hills and the valleys. And I'm trying to keep it PG-13 that we were created with, which is why you can see these lips and want to kiss them. Our neck is what does the Song of Solomon say? Like it was like the Nile. That is why. So anything, and I'm going back to these beds, anything that needs to enhance what's already supposed to be a natural, beautiful immersion / connection, is taking you away from the authenticity of the connect. Okay, and it's disrupting the ways people form, hear me, and maintain intimate bonds with one another. I'm gonna say that again. It is disrupting the ways people form and maintain intimate bonds with one another. You got any thoughts on that before we go on, sis?
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, like all of that digital, all of that new age, whatever, the more involved they become in that, the less that the real world becomes real to them. So what happens is that digital world becomes their actual reality.
Yep.
And out here, the people that they see every day or can have physical interaction with, those people become the video game. They become the alternate reality. So this is why, you know, you can have friends that you've been friends with for 15, 20 years, and they get involved in this digital place, and they now no longer even have a desire to be friends and hang out and go anywhere. And I know we understand it and we see it in our teenagers when you say, man, like, you've been in there for hours playing that game, get off that game and go do something. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even our generation now is more perverse in it, because I remember when I was a kid, we had like Nintendo and stuff, but we was not allowed to spend hours on a Nintendo. Our mom would be like, get outside and play.
Go outside.
You had to go outside and play. And when she said get outside and play, she meant you better get outside. Like, you couldn't come in unless you had to use the bathroom or get something to drink or eat. And even then, she was telling you, get back out. So we in a whole different generation now. And now even with COVID-19 and people being encouraged not to go out, not to have interactions, what is everybody doing? Everybody's engaging in technology. Even if you were somebody who never really got into it, you're into it now because you don't have anything to do.
Nothing.
Your physical contact has been cut off. So now everybody's TikToking, Facebooking, Instagramming, and for your sexual desires, you may be in some of them chat rooms. And, you know, she just talked about, you know, even the dating sites, they're using that as ways to actually physically hook up with people. But what happens when they alter those dating sites where you can have, and some of them you actually can just like talk to each other on like this FaceTime type of thing. So that's already happening. You know what I'm saying? So again, we have to be careful about that stuff because, and I'm not trying to be churchy here, but when that spirit enter into your home, your family, your relationship, baby, that's a battle.
It's a battle. It is. They have a name for these sex robots and virtual reality intelligent encounters. They're calling these people, virtual people, teledildonics.
Ooh.
Teledildonics.
Get out of here.
Okay. Listen, if we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it.
Talk about it.
Teledildonics is a growing population with digisexuals. They are virtual lovers and they forego human partners altogether.
Wow.
So that means outside of intimacy, you become awkward just in relating to another human.
That's crazy.
You may have already been awkward. Most of us are very awkward, myself, but this will definitely cut your contact with other human beings.
Jesus.
Okay.
I'm getting emotional right now, so it's a little bit.
That's okay, because this is good. If we look at the movie, I know you just showed one, but there's another movie where the actor Joaquin Phoenix, he falls in love with AI. It's Blade Runner.
Yeah.
2049. I think it's Ryan Gosling's character is in love with a virtual avatar. they are in love with them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Will you face discrimination because you are a digisexual? You may keep it from people. You may keep it from people so that you don't face it. But I'm telling you that it's something mental, and it does something to you naturally and spiritually, where you have a harder time connecting with humans, connecting with natural people. You may go ahead, sis.
I think it also distorts your sense of reality.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who are just joining us, we're talking about the virtual interactions that people are having and how people are losing themselves inside of that, and they no longer desire physical contact with real people. So like marriages, relationships, even the man-woman dynamic is shifting and is in trouble because they prefer to look at the video game women, or they have like engulfed themselves in that virtual world, and now they don't even communicate with you, and you're their spouse in your own home, or you're their girlfriend, or you're their mother, and they don't, your sons and daughters not even talking to you because they're on this game all day. They're in this virtual world. And we talked about you have to be careful, because the more time you spend in a virtual world, you become addicted and attached, and that becomes your reality. And then everybody out here in the real world is like a alternate reality for them. So that's what we were kind of talking about. And LaQuisha was giving us some of the terms, some of the terms for some of these things. And so that's what we're discussing now. This is really a great topic, and I encourage y'all to stay on and watch it, or come back and watch it, or follow our YouTube channel to watch it, or even listen to our podcast. But this is something that really is plaguing our culture, our home, every aspect of our life, because we're unaware of what the enemy is doing through these devices. Okay, Quisha, go ahead.
Okay, let's shift gears. We're gonna go a little further. I know it's heavy, but let's go.
Down the hole we go.
Girl, I got something else for us. Sex toys.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay, listen. Sex toys were only designed for, at first, they were only designed for observational or experimental research. That is a fact.
So this is their initial purpose, but we know that they have evolved to so
They have evolved.
Than that. Oh my God.
They have evolved. But they were only designed as a stimulant to find out what triggers the human curiosity in regards to sex. They were never designed to be your complete companion.
Ooh.
Let that sink in.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
Okay. They were never designed. And you know why? Because they're immobile. When I say immobile, that means they cannot react to your action.
Right.
And human intimacy is about act and reaction. Maybe not all of it, but the bonding part of it comes from act and reaction.
That's good.
When you give in to just sex toys, it often affects all areas of your life.
Oh, come on, talk about this. Come on, talk.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you how. Because it changes your sexual behavior towards natural human beings.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. It changes your sexual behavior, and therefore changes the way you perceive your object of affection, if in a human form.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you begin to perceive those people as objects only and not people.
Woo.
Any thoughts on that, sis, before I go on?
Oh my God. No. My mind, my mind is blown right there. But what I am gonna say, you might be getting ready to hit this, but the reason why I really want people to pay attention to that part of what you're talking about when you are only using sex toys, I want to go to the church world real quick. And I want to hit some of my sisters and brothers in the church world who are not physically out here fornicating, and you feel like them sex toys is not you fornicating. You on dangerous territory, and I want you to pay attention to this part because she just said it alters. Oh God, go ahead, sis. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm just saying, pay attention.
Hope they do, but I'm glad that we have this on the replay.
Whew.
To the women that are even in the church world, or to women in general, I know men think, hey, we got sex toys too. Sex toys were not ultimately in the beginning designed for you.
Mm.
They were targeted to the female.
Mm.
I'm going to tell you why. And men, please don't get offended. Please don't.
Well, Lord.
They were targeted to the female because there were studies performed that asked if women were completely satisfied with their sexual encounters with their men.
That's good.
And they often felt that it was a selfish act in which they were being used as a tool, and that they were just there for the man's pleasure, but not able to receive it.
Well,
so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So the more advanced toys we get is because they are trying to give us something that some men, that maybe not all, have decided that they're not going to give sexually. They're selfish lovers. This is not all men. There are some that are selfish lovers. So the more enhanced toys that they make is because of studies that they do with women. They don't just come out with these toys just out of the works. They have to be asking. Now, who they're asking, I don't know. But they may just be paying attention to social media. They may be paying attention to that stuff. So that is why, even now, I believe that they have some, I'm trying to keep it PG, some kind of PG. I believe that they have some vibrators that even have virtual cameras so that the woman can see what it's doing to her effectively.
say what, say huh? Say what, say huh?
I'm trying to keep it tailored. So they have some vibrators that have virtual cameras where the woman can see what is happening to her face, her senses when she reaches a certain climax. And I know everybody have been talking about this flower, this rose that done came out here recently. And I know a lot of women that have gotten it.
Wait a minute now. I'm left in the dark. What's this?
Okay, so and I'm trying to keep it.
I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to keep it light, but this new rose is designed to do a lot of things at once.
Okay.
For a woman.
So it's a device.
It's a device.
Okay.
But it's shaped like a rose.
Got you.
And it's designed to do all of these things at one time.
Oh, okay.
I need men to understand this. Society is trying to replace you.
Absolutely.
Because if a woman can reach her plateau, I think that's tailored enough.
Yes.
Without your human contact, there are many women that will say, why do she need to be bothered
Yep.
with you?
That's gonna be the nail in the coffin.
And because you are not in tune with your woman, and I ain't even trying to go down this relationship road, or because you are not ready, or because you are playing with her heart, or because you don't want to give her the intimacy that she needs, the affection that she needs, the caress that she needs, the love that she needs, because you don't want to give it to her. That very same woman that you thought was clingy or begging you for that intimacy,
Come on now.
society is finding ways of replacing you, and whether you care or not, because there are so many women to one man, let me tell you something. There's only one special woman for you.
That's it. Talk, black woman, talk.
You can have 20 men to a man, but it's only one special woman for you. There's only one special woman that makes you feel a certain way internally, not externally. Internally, that you're not going to get from the 20. So while you want to deny your affection and deny your love, I'm going to need you to know that you're being replaced. And a lot of these women, let me flip to the other side, that's buying these toys and stuff, you don't even know that that human contact is being replaced. And a lot of men will say, oh, I'm not being replaced because you can't get what I can get. Let me tell you something. They coming out with toys with pulses and all.
Yes, I heard that.
With pulses and all. But let me let you in on a secret, man. What women lack is not so much the actual encounter, but the embrace, baby.
Come on now.
It's the intimacy of it that she wants. But I'm going to tell you right now, because of pain and heartache, if she can reach her plateau and wrap up in a pillow, she might choose to do it.
When you bring up a few interesting points that I really want to hit.
Go ahead.
You talk about how, number one, they are trying to replace you men. They are. And I don't think people understand, but when we talk about the extermination of a culture, you have to take the essence of the culture. Now, I can flip this biblically as well, because I believe that God's intent for the family unit was always a man, woman, and their offspring. Okay? So if you remove either one of those parties, you cut off the original plan of God. Yep. And here's the thing. So, that's the spiritual side of it. The natural side of it is this. Just like when they introduced welfare into the Black community.
Say that.
You could not have a husband in your home, a man in your home to receive that welfare. They did that to cut the family unit off. You know why? Because if you did not have, you got to think about what a man represents and what he's supposed to bring to the family unit. He's supposed to bring strength. He's supposed to bring direction. He's supposed to bring protection. He's supposed to be a provider. So if you take those things away from the family unit, you leave that mother or that woman there to do all of those things, plus the things she's supposed to do, nurture, teach, all of those things. She now has to do all of that because it has been cut. The family unit has been cut. Men no longer desire to get a wife and start a family.
No.
Women no longer desire to have a husband. They feel like they can just have a family. I'll go adopt, or I'll go to the the sperm bank and get pregnant. Like, they're already finding ways to cut the man out. Yeah. And so what we're saying is, we're not coming at even the men saying you're inadequate.
Right.
We're saying recognize who you are and what your role is, not just in your home or with that woman, but in society. And I'm gonna talk for our race. If you take all of our Black men and you make them punks, you make them wimps, you make them cowards, what do we have? You have a whole bunch of women leading our culture. And I'm not talking about anything being wrong with a strong woman who knows what she do, but that was not our place. That was not our desire. Why am I going to carry a load just because I can carry it? when there was somebody there who should have been carrying it. I'm gonna tell you right now, like even in my home, my sons take out the garbage. It ain't that my daughter can't take out the garbage. I don't want her to get accustomed to that. I want her to understand that when there is a man around, he want to get down and dirty for her, so she ain't got to do the dirty work. I want them to be accustomed to that. So what I'm saying to you is, when the man is removed, this is what left, because women, first of all, women are strong. And even if you go back to Adam and Eve, he made Eve from Adam's rib. She can talk about it. She can do what you can do. Mm-hmm. But that ain't the point. The point is she can do what you can do because she was designed to help you. Yeah. And when you stop looking at your women as your help, God help us today. My. God help us today. It's something else. I'm telling you, they are treating these surrogates for real life partners. Thanks. Virtual and dolls and toys or whatever they teaching them, they treat them like real life partners, accepted as fully adequate post-human synthetic partners. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Post-human synthetic partners. Yep. Raising the question in the natural mind, is human or sexual contact or human contact or human intimacy even important? Yep. Okay. Did you see the synthetic babies? Yes. Like growing synthetic babies. Yep. Ooh, we done got deep. I didn't know it was gonna take this road, but we done got deep. But my challenge is to us is, number one, we see this stuff and you hear stuff, but you like let it slide. Like it doesn't affect you or it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with you. And I'm telling you, I'm so emotional right now because this is like a topic that really bothers me, that really worries me and concerns me, because this is genocide. It's genocide in a whole different spectrum. It ain't no nuclear bomb. It ain't the Holocaust. It ain't slavery. It is still a form of genocide. They are trying to break what God built. And that is a problem for me because we as men and women are falling into the trap. Women are falling into the trap talking about, I don't need no man. Listen, I don't care how many times I get hurt. I'm going to heal. I'm going to do the work. And I'm going to pray that God sends me somebody who talk about it. Like the way that a man is supposed to. I'm not about to allow myself to get hurt and be like, forget that, I don't need no man. Talk about it. Yes, I do make my own money. Yes, I do take care of my own house. I drive my own whip. I take care of my kids. But it was never designed for me to do it by myself. And I don't talk about it. How proud I feel about being able to do that. I also feel pain because the man that God gave me was not there to fulfill his job. Talk about it. We can't fall down the rabbit hole. Yes, as women, we adjust. When we don't have what we need, we stand up and do what we need to do. But that is not for you to get to a place where I don't need no man. But I'm not about to bash no man. I'm telling you right now, because what I recognize is the enemy is against the unit of family. Sure is. He's attacking me. He's attacking him. He's attacking our children. And somebody got to man the gate. And I know it feels some kind of way because you've been done over and over. You've been done wrong. But that does not negate the fact that there is a man out there who will stand up and do the right thing. And so my plea is for us not to fall down the rabbit hole, especially our men who are just laying down and giving up their authority and their places. Whether it's because talk about that now. Is it because you don't know your place? But then somebody comes along who loves you and try to help you know your place and your authority, you turn them into your enemy. I'm telling you, my prayer in the midnight hour is for men to recognize their authority and their place and stand up. And even if you don't know how to do it, that you will seek how to do it, that you will get therapy and heal from your trauma so that you don't keep traumatizing the women that come into your life to love you and build with you. That is my prayer, because until our men stand up, our women won't even heal from the places that they have been hurt to trust you, to be
Oh,
able to
sad.
join together as a family. And I'm telling you, we got to do something, because what we cannot do is stay in this place. You cannot conform. Yeah, we adapt because we were made to, but you can't conform. I still have a desire to be a family unit, no matter how many times the person that I choose to join with, I choose to build with, walks off or decides they don't want to do it no more. I still desire to be a unit of family.
Wow, she said a lot. I wholeheartedly agree with you. I am also.
The preacher came out.
That's okay. That's okay. You was on fire, honey, and that's what's in us. So it's gonna happen. I am in total agreement with you. Let me tell you why human intimacy is important. It's important because it allows you the opportunity to share. Okay. Many people feel like they may or may not have been silenced, that they may or may not have been heard. It allows you the opportunity to share. In a close, loving relationship where there's trust, even in a friendship, there is a level of intimacy even in a friendship. It allows you that opportunity. Isolation is not good all the time. It's just not.
About that isolation.
You know, a lot of people think that they should be in isolation because they are in constant conflict with others. Okay.
Talk about it.
However, having gone through conflict resolution as a counselor certified, conflict with others doesn't always necessarily mean that you have to withdraw from society or withdraw from the world. Conflict should teach you how to resolve and work through. And conflict should also point out to you what are triggers and possibly bad behaviors that you exhibit. And one of the ways that you're going to get past that conflict and enter into conflict resolution is intimacy. But it's not going to be intimacy with the partner that lays down. It's going to be intimacy with the partner that challenges you.
That's good. Sis, I really want you to elaborate on intimacy a little more, because I think sometimes people think intimacy is sex, and it's not.
Okay, it's not all sex. What is intimacy? Intimacy is important. It's close personal relationships with others in a secure place where you are able to share thoughts and feelings. Even if you're being judged, you know the person loves you because there is a buildup of trust. Intimacy is a design of interpersonal relationships with people that you trust and connect with on more than one level. It doesn't have to be just sexual. It can be a friend. These are intimate. It can be a family member.
Mm-hmm.
You ever had a cousin that you were closer to than a brother or closer to than a sister? That is because of intimacy. But don't get it twisted. You cannot be kissing cousins. Let me just throw a little humor in there. Just because you have a level of intimacy with your cousin, that other cousin should not begin to form an unhealthy desire for you. That means there's something wrong and unhealthy. Okay? So I believe that maturity will allow you to go certain places with certain people and not go certain places with others, but still having a level of intimacy. It will allow you to know how far you go. So there is a such thing as experimental intimacy. I got some categories. That is when people bond during. Experimental intimacy is when people bond during activities. That's me talking to you. We're syncing up or linking up, not sneaky linking, but linking up to like go to dinner or lunch, and I'm learning about you. This is an experimental intimacy. This is where I'm learning where I can be intimate with you and how far I can go, if I can go there. That is experimental intimacy. Okay, emotional intimacy. This is when people feel safe sharing their feelings with each other, even uncomfortable feelings. Okay, example, a friend confides in her friend that she doesn't feel comfortable with her body and she has body issues. She trusts that the person that she's telling is going to offer her comfort rather than using her insecurities against her. Okay, that is an emotional intimacy on a friend level. In a relationship, we may be entering into a relationship and I tell you something that was devastating against, to me. It is not then your opportunity to use that against me. That is a level of an intimate, emotional intimacy. I'm telling you because I trust you. And obviously I'm telling you because we're in a relationship where I believe you can love me through that. I think that you are not that man or that woman that would do that to me. So that's why I've opened my heart to you. There's another level, intellectual intimacy. This is when people feel comfortable sharing ideas and opinions, even when they disagree. Two friends can debate on the meaning of life all day, but neither one will feel the need to win the argument because at the end of it, they will both understand the perspectives. And I can use us as an example. Or should I be pointing that way? I don't know what side you're on today. My sister and I, we argue all the time. Facts. We argue all the time. We just argued last night.
Heated, debated. Facts.
Yeah. But towards the end of the conversation, there should come a place where there's some resolve. We may not completely be on the exact, even oftentimes I do believe we end up on the same page some kind of way because we just be saying the same thing in different wording. You may not come to the exact same page, but there should be a level of understanding because you value the relationship that you have with the person and you respect them. Respect is important. The next one is sexual intimacy. Ooh.
Come on,
Sexual intimacy is when people engage in sensual or sexual activities. When people use the word intimacy, they are often referring to two lovers engaged in, I'm trying to keep it foreplay, not PG, engaged in some sort of foreplay, knowing how to touch one another. Oh, that was deep. Church world, don't ban me. I still love the Lord. Okay.
Also, intimacy themselves. You want to give your head to the wife, you better learn it.
But it's two lovers engaged in foreplay, knowing how each other prefers to be touched after these experiences. And y'all gonna have to get the book because I ain't trying to go too deep, because your sister B done pulled you in. Your sister B done pulled you in, but I'm not trying to go there with you. Okay, I'm just saying. Intimacy in a romantic relationship is usually something that is built over time. Don't rush it, baby. Take it slow. Listen, I told somebody once, I ain't no jackrabbit.
Not a jackrabbit.
Slow down, Pippa. You're hitting these corners too fast. Look at the church girl. The church girl gonna be like, don't judge me. Judge yourself. Okay? Everybody ain't always been saved, but don't judge me, judge yourself. Okay? Because at the end of the day, let me put this out there. Whether I'm in the church world or I'm not in the church world, I'm still a woman. I'm still a woman.
Now them big facts we need to talk.
Okay, so let me go ahead and put that out there so they could go ahead, because we're not hurting for no viewers, because when God get an increase, it is what it is, baby. I'm still a woman. I was designed as a woman. You know what I'm saying? I have desires as a woman. And even though my desires may not always be on display, and I might be, or I'm in an area of celibacy, that doesn't mean that eventually when I come out, I'm not going to require intimacy. So if it's hard for you to listen to, close your ears, plug them up, or log off. Because at the end of the day, I am still a woman.
And so,
Okay?
So are you, apostle?
And so are you.
Elder, prophet.
Just because you turned your senses off, don't mean I'm getting ready to turn mine off. And I fast just like you, which is why I'm not out here giving away the cookies, because I fast, and because I pray, and because I'm in them scriptures, okay? Because the act of doing and the act of being is two totally different things. And I don't act on emotion, and I don't act on desires like that, because I know what the Lord says. When the Father decides to bless me with my king, I'm going to give him everything I got. And even at that time, I might still be intimate, and I might still be sexual in front of you with him. Mwah, 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 mwah. If you don't like it, walk the other way. Next, new relationships might have moments of intimacy, but building long-term intimacy, hear me now, is a gradual process that requires patience and communication and comprehension.
Absolutely.
People always talk about communication, don't talk about comprehension.
Well now.
You need to be able to comprehend
That's right.
what I'm saying to you.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me, but do you understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I don't even want you to understand it here. I want you to understand it here. In your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where wisdom comes from.
Mm-hmm.
In your spirit. Many people judge the quality of their relationships based on the depth of intimacy and degree.
Well,
listen, you don't have to judge the quality of the relationship based on that. Just know where to place those people. Okay? Intimacy can help you feel more loved and less alone.
I agree.
That's why human intimacy is important.
I concur. And I want to interject right there, because
Go ahead.
intimacy is super important. And the reality is there are people who get married and don't even understand intimacy.
Don't.
I know for me personally, intimacy is like, it's super important. I have to have it because it's the connection that you feel to them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have that intimate connection with your partner, you feel distant. You wonder, like, you know, is a relationship strong enough? Do you have a strong enough bond? And so oftentimes it'll be a woman who's crying out for intimacy or begging their partner for intimacy. But I mean, it's just a challenge for men and women both to understand intimacy and what it is and how it acts on the different levels, so that you can make sure that you're providing that for your mate or your spouse. Like, it's super important to have.
So true. Intimacy can help you feel more loved and less alone, but intimacy requires a great deal of trust, sis, and vulnerability.
Ooh, now you talk about that vulnerability. Nobody.
Yeah. And here's the thing: a lot of men and women, because I'm one of them, find vulnerability frightening. Yeah. Many people. They view it as a weakness. And let me also say this. Sometimes when we struggle with vulnerability, it's because we've been hurt, extremely hurt. Mm-hmm. And so it is easier and safer for us to keep, we running, it's 1:22. It's my time, but it's keeping us, it almost like it's a safeguard for us. Most people struggle with intimacy and fear of intimacy And it's a common concern
Right.
because they've been hurt. Okay, real quick, like I got like 4 reasons that people struggle with intimacy, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you, sis, because I know we run it.
We're 6 minutes away, so we're doing decent.
Okay, so some people struggle with intimacy because of abandonment issues.
Woo! Now.
You may fear that once you become attached to someone, that eventually they'll leave.
That's a good one.
Okay. Another reason that people struggle with intimacy is fear of rejection. And this is all still going back to why they deal with the virtual world, because a virtual person will never leave them. A doll would never leave them. A toy would never leave them. It may burn out, but they can replace it. Fear of rejection. You might worry that once you reveal any flaws or imperfection, the other person will no longer want to be with you.
Ooh.
Control issues.
Mm-hmm.
You may fear losing your independence as you become emotionally connected to others, because let's be honest, it's a lot of women out here that are very controlling, but it's only because, and I'm gonna talk about this because you men say it all the time, it's only because she was abused once or twice by a man that she let control her.
Right.
Or she gave control to.
Mm-hmm.
So now she is no longer wanting to allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last but not least, people struggle with intimacy because of past abuse. Okay. A history, get this, because I'm not talking about relationship now. A history of childhood abuse,
That's good.
especially sexually, it will make it difficult for you to trust others.
That's good. That's very true.
A lot of trauma has affected the way that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why people need to go to therapy.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can pray. Yes, you need to fast. Yes, you need to read your Bible, but you need to go to therapy. And I'm going to say this. Every church person is not therapeutic for you.
That's right.
Because they haven't learned themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. And this is no shade to my grandmother, because God rest her soul. Bless her soul. She was a wonderful woman. But as I was growing up in her household, it was time for me to get a pap. Okay. The things that young girls do when they get a certain age. So my grandmother's like, Quisha, it's time to get that pap. Let's go. You go to the doctor now. Got your person and everything. I wasn't active, sexually.
Right.
It was just time. I had to be about 17. So I went to get this pap. Okay. Now we Baptists. Okay. Listen, my grandmother, old Baptist mother, Sunday school teacher, deaconess of the church. Okay. So she didn't go into the room with me. I got the pap. I came out. I had a funny look on my face. We didn't talk all the way home. And when we got home, I said to her, Grandma, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me what they was going to use. You didn't tell me what they was going to do. And this is what she told me. She said, while you was in there, they was doing that to you, you were supposed to call on Jesus.
No.
She said, you were supposed, this is a true story, okay? I cannot make this up. My grandmother told me I was supposed to call on Jesus.
Oh, help us today.
I didn't call on the Lord when I was laying on that table. I was just kind of sitting there like, where you going with that? That's what I was thinking. It would have been nice if she had have said to me, they gonna get some specs and they gonna do this, and mentally prepared me, but she didn't. So, I've said all that to say this. Now, listen, I love the Lord. So my grandmother told me to call on him. It's okay. I don't fault her. She was a wonderful woman. But what I'm saying is there are some church folk that just may not be comfortable with old school. We're speaking with you about that because of the way that they were raised or because of how they were brought up in the church house. And so I didn't have that luxury when I was encountering some of that stuff, and I couldn't ask my mama because she was so hood and so gutter. She would have scared me half to pieces. And I couldn't ask my auntie because she was just like a player from the Himalayas. So like the perceptions, that's why you got to take the time to, maybe if I had to ask them, I could have incorporated all three and learned. Do you know what I'm saying? So sometimes you just got to kind of seek those answers out. Because I'm telling you right now, my mama would have been like, excuse me, say what? You scared of a what?
Right.
Boss up. Like I had that kind of mama. Like, I know you ain't scared of that when I'm out here. I mean, when people out here stabbing and shooting folks, you better mask, you know what I'm saying? Like, we from the hood, get yourself together. And my auntie would have been like, girl, please. Anybody worry about that, just ask them if they gonna pay you.
Hilarious.
And some of y'all know my family, some of y'all don't. But anyway, those are the fears that people have when they deal with intimacy. And often, sometimes, you know, the church world may not be the world that you need to go to. If you have someone in your church that is down to earth, like myself or my sister, I don't know what side you on today, or my sister, we are very down to earth people. Y'all know I always try to plug us in these little videos here. We are very down to earth. You can call us and we will talk to you, okay? But you need to be receptive.
Yes, absolutely. Because we're going to tell you the truth.
You're going to learn the truth.
You're going to get the truth.
But you need to be receptive. I had a friend that would always call me with her relationship issues, right? But when I would talk to her, she wouldn't listen.
Ain't nothing you say.
Nothing. That's a problem. You don't listen. You don't comprehend well. I'm not the relationship guru, but I know what dysfunction looks like.
Yes.
Because I've been in it and I've done it and I've been on the receiving end of it. Absolutely. So you need to listen. So that's my spiel on the intimacy part of it. Yes. This was a good chat today. You got anything you need to add, sis?
Absolutely. I just want to really kind of recap and then like give a ending resolve. But mainly, like, what I want to say is, you know, me and her both, like, me and Kusha both, we don't pretend to be, like, the world's most knowledgeable, whatever, or the institute or anything like that. But we both have been through marriage and relationships. I have personally been married 3 times, and sometimes, you know, people try to use that as a discredit to you. But the reality is, anytime you get in a relationship, you should be learning from it, whether it failed or didn't fail, you know. And so at the end of the day, I have taken a lot of knowledge with me from each relationship that I've had, even each marriage that I have had, and it has caused me to be a better woman, a more prepared woman, and even a more emotionally, mentally, and just spiritual, intelligent human being and a woman. And so at the end of the day, like, you take the things that you learn and you try to help others when you figure things out. And so that's really what this podcast is all about. It's about, you know, the knowledge and the wisdom that we have been able to gain with our life experiences, with all of these different topics that many of you are
struggling with,
talk to, but don't have anybody to talk to.
Nobody.
And so it's very important that we learn how to communicate. It's very important that we learn how to get knowledge and apply it to our lives to become better, because it does you no good if you hear good information and you don't do anything with that information. And so even in this platform today, all the things that we've talked about, from losing yourself in a virtual world, my challenge to everybody is to examine your virtual interactions, whether it's a video game, whether it's watching Netflix every day, all day. I challenge you to pay attention to your virtual interactions, because the longer and the more time you spend in these virtual worlds, the more cut off from the natural world you become. And for that reason, many families and marriages and relationships have suffered and continue to suffer, because the people that they're in a relationship with are lost into a digital, virtual, counterfeit world. And that has given them that counterfeit intimacy that we talked about. It's not real intimacy. It's not organic intimacy. And so we don't want you to lose your desire for human contact. And yes, you will run across people who hurt you. You will run across people who don't connect with you or lie to you or whatever the case is. But what you do is you heal. And a part of that healing is therapy. And we are huge advocates of therapy because number one, we're from a Black community and we were not taught about therapy. We were taught that therapy was something we did not need. I know for many years, I was like, I'm not about to go talk to somebody and tell them all my business for them to think I'm crazy or judge me or whatever. But I'm telling you, the first time I received therapy, it was a huge monument in my healing process. And so now it is a part of my healing process. Whenever I go through something that has broken me, that has hurt me, that has devastated me, I go through a healing process. And that healing process includes therapy. And I can tell you that it is so important to your healing that you go to therapy. And I come from the church world. So guess what? I used to believe you go to your pastor for therapy and counseling. No, I don't do that anymore because that person knows me and I don't need anybody to judge me. And I need to be free to talk and I need to be free to say how I feel. And, you know, so sometimes it just helps for you to have a therapist who does not know you, doesn't know your situation, doesn't know the people involved. They can hear the facts and they can give you their professional opinion because they have been trained to do so. And so I'm telling you, I'm advocating therapy for our people so tough. Women, when you go through a heartache and a breakup, go get therapy. Don't jump back into the saddle and don't put yourself off of the market. Men, you have experienced trauma from your childhood that you have never dealt with. And then you get in these relationships thinking you're ready, believing you're ready, but that's going to come out in that relationship. That's going to come out in that marriage. The father you want to be, the husband you want to be, you're going to fall short because you're not dealing with the trauma that is now going to come back up and interrupt your life. So for our men, I'm telling you, I'm advocating strongly. Go get you a therapist. It's going to feel weird. You may feel some kind of way. You ain't got to tell nobody you're doing it, but go do it and watch your life change. I'm telling you, we can overcome any obstacle that we're dealing with, but we have to be people of change. You have to do something different. You know, they say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different outcome. If you want your life to be different, you got to move different. Trust and believe that God has a purpose and a plan for your life that is greater than what you have been existing in, but you've got to heal. You've got to get over your trauma. You've got to get over your hurt and devastation, even the stuff you don't want to talk about. You got to get over it because if you don't, you will not be the man you're supposed to be, the woman you're supposed to be, the husband, father, the wife or mother that you're supposed to be. And so I'm telling y'all, that is my final thoughts. Please, as our people, go get some therapy. And the second thing I will say is do more human contact. Do more things where you are interacting with real life people so that you do not lose yourself in an alternate reality. Sis, you got anything?
Not a whole lot. Just, you know, when dealing with intimacy, be patient.
Yes.
Start with the easy stuff. Talk about your needs.
That's good.
Respect each other's differences. That is all.
All right, y'all. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. Many of you are watching us live, so thank you for watching Sister Conversations in Black. This is episode 4. You can watch this video on premiere on our YouTube channel. You can also listen to this podcast episode on our podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music, and other platforms. So thanks, guys. Make sure you check out our website. Make sure you get some of the merch. And make sure you order the book, Relationship Status. I promise you, you will love it. It will help you. It will guide you. And it will be something for you to talk about. All right, guys. Thanks again. I'm Jackie Johnson.
And I'm LaQuisha.
And this has been Sister Conversations
in Black.
All right. Have a good one.